Economists are warning that the U.S. is on the precipice of economic calamity if the government can't come together and raise the federal debt limit. Now, this isn't the first time the U.S. has been in this situation. We've been here before, and the debt limit crisis has always been resolved by Congress. But this year's fight is turning out to be a lot more messy than previous years. And since this debt ceiling is one of the few must-pass pieces of legislation, both parties have tried to use this issue as an opportunity to take a political stand and exact concessions to cut back on government spending. It would cause the government to default on its legal obligations for the first time in history, creating a financial crisis and threatening jobs for everyday Americans. It could even potentially put the U.S. at risk of a recession. The only other country that has a debt ceiling is Denmark. The debt limit, or the debt ceiling, is a cap on the total amount of money that the federal government is authorized to borrow to fulfill its financial obligations. Everything that the government spends money on, from military to Social Security and veterans benefits, has to be funded either through tax revenue or debt. And for the last 2 decades, the U.S. has been running a budget deficit, adding $25 trillion in debt. So the Treasury Department now says that the government could be unable to issue new debt and pay its bills as early as June 1st. But Congress has always acted when called upon to raise the debt limit. Since 1960, Congress has acted 78 separate times to permanently raise, temporarily extend, or revise the debt limit. The debt ceiling has become an increasingly political issue in recent years, especially when power in Washington is divided as it is right now. Republicans control the House and Democrats control the presidency and the Senate. Well, Democrats have been very united on this front. They have insisted from the beginning that they won't accept any concessions attached to a deal and continue to blame Republicans for taking the country's credit hostage.
Speaker McCarthy and I have had several productive conversations, and our staffs continue to meet as we speak, as a matter of fact, and they're making progress. I've made clear time and again defaulting on our national debt is not an option.
But that no negotiation strategy may be impractical with the June 1st deadline approaching in less than 2 weeks.
There's a number of places that we are still far apart. I mean, it didn't seem like it'd be this hard.
The economy plays a pivotal role in how Americans cast their ballots, so the outcome of these debt limit discussions could shape what happens in 2024, particularly if Biden is unable to raise the debt limit before defaulting, or if he accepts concessions that undo his legislative accomplishments. For instance, progressives might see him as weak if he accepts the GOP's proposed work requirements for federal aid. This is a very big moment for Joe Biden, and as my colleague Phil Elliott wrote, remarkably little of it is under his sole control.